Alright.
I'm sorry, can I help you?
Yeah, he is.
No.
Okay. Is there a reason you're kind of like walking around, falling around, just kind of standing around, like sitting over there and acting all like...
No, honestly, I want to find the bottom of a bottle, but I'll...
You want to see my penis?
No.
Okay. What would you like?
We have already seen anything we need to see.
Currently speaking to John F. government.
Okay. So you've seen my cock.
Alright, see...
In the right context.
Well, it depends, right? Have you seen it in anything else? Because, man, I had a hell of a weekend last weekend. It was something else.
Yes, you did.
Did you know that 20% of men can't get a hot on when they're high on coke?
I did know that.
But if you are part of that 20%, it is one hell of a time.
I could assume it is.
What side do you fall on? Are you part of the 20% or the 80%?
I lean left.
Okay. But are you leaning fully left, like when you're on coke, or like partially left? That's a question.
I don't do drugs.
Why? It's not illegal to do coke in Los Santos. Nor is it illegal to tell you that I did coke outside of Los Santos.
Yeah, possession by ingestion isn't a thing.
Is it illegal in the state of San Andreas?
No. Cocaine? Not in legislation.
Is that state legislation or city?
Both. Right. So it's not codified as being legal. That's because inherently everything is legal except what is explicitly defined as being illegal. In fact, if you were to take some cocaine and you were to take its properties and change it a little bit, kind of like what you can do with MDMA, you see, across the United States, but this happens more in the UK. The kind of ecstasy MDMA used to get like 20 years ago is different from what you get today, because you can kind of change some of the chemical components in it, thus getting around the FDA or whatever the fucking UK version of it is. You can manufacture it in your house, you could sell it, and if you're caught with it, it's not illegal. Right? You can buy most of the stuff out of China for cheap, and you get a little test kit, you try it out. If it's working really good, you might try it on yourself a little bit, only if you experience, like the highs right, and then, you go to a club, you enjoy yourself or whatever. In worst case scenario, you might get detained, right? They might be like, oh, God, this is what it is. But ultimately, when they break down the chemical breakdown, when they send it to the lab or whatever, it's going to come back as a different chemical structure. It's one of the nice things about MDMA, actually.
MDMA
you don't want to
is
fuck it up,
3,4
yeah.
methylene dioxine amphetamine.
Yeah.
That is illegal.
Not if you change some of the chemical makeup. There's a really good documentary on it, especially the one in the UK. They've been chasing that shit for years. In fact, the pre-workout industry has the exact same problem. See, they keep changing the formulas because the FDA keeps catching up. Like, for example, there was this one pre-workout called Jacked from back in 2003, and that shit used to make you pump some serious weight. And if you did that shit, like, before fucking, like, let's say you run to abroad, whatever, right? You can't, you want to get it extra in, get that pre-workout going, it's going to feel real good. But that's because it's got like pretty much like the different amphetamines inside of it. Unfortunately,
Yes.
they switched that formula up. Now it's kind of dog shit.
It was
well,
1,3-dimethylamine.
Yeah, that's the one right there. Yep. Now they
know
got
that.
other shit, but it's not as good. You can actually still buy Jacked off of eBay and shit for cheaper, because technically it's still legal due to it being manufactured prior to the FDA banning it.
There are many ways to do many things.
Yeah.
But let me be clear. Things need to be legal and done correctly.
Right, exactly. That's why you got to
We
change the
agree.
chemical makeup of the drug.
No.
Why? It's legal to do so. Because the base chemicals are legal. At no point would be turned into a formula that is explicitly, a class A, B, or C substance.
No.
I mean, that's your choice. But you said you don't do anything illegal, but it's not illegal, so why no?
As a government official, taking a substance that will impair my judgment and capabilities to do my job is unbecoming of
Okay.
somebody in my position.
Okay, that's fair. But see, that's an entirely other argument because there's no blood alcohol test in Los Santos. And because there's no blood alcohol test, and even if there was a device, it's not legislated as to what the percentage is in your system. Furthermore, breath alcohol tests are only good for establishing reasonable suspicion and not probable cause, which is why you need your blood drawn, which can be done. Some states, they need like the breath test, the big fucking device that you got to blow into or whatever that's back at the stations. And because those don't exist, you can't really apply that. So inherently, there's no standard by which you could say you'd be impaired by, say, alcohol, let alone how would you know whether or not you'd be impaired by something like medical marijuana or ecstasy or any other drug for that matter. You could simply say someone is on it or not on it, but you can't really establish whether they're impaired or not. But because a lot of those drugs stay in your system for so long, well, how do you know when you are still under its effect and when you're not? In other words, when are you and when are you not impaired? And because it's rather vague,
I am never impaired.
well, do you drink coffee?
No.
Do you smoke cigarettes?
No.
Do you inhale the oxygen?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know the chemicals that are in the oxygen here in Los Santos?
The air quality in Los Santos and the state of San Andreas has never been better.
It has.
No.
No, that's a lie.
Alrighty.
All right. Thank you, Bailey.
Yes.
Yep.